global economic crisis sparked by the war with Iran just got worse after Israel reportedly attacked the world's biggest natural gas field in Iran. The facility is shared with Qatar, which called the strike dangerous and irresponsible. Oil prices rose sharply again today, with Iran saying it would take decisive action in response. And there are reports tonight of an Iranian strike on Qatar's state-owned petroleum company, and missiles also targeting Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. So what could all this mean for energy costs?
The sky filled with black smoke above South Pars, the world's largest natural gas field, marks a new frontier in this spiralling conflict. It's a dramatic departure from America's previous aversion to hitting Iran's energy infrastructure. It's reported Israel alerted the US, and already Tehran appears to be responding in kind. Tonight, a refinery in the Ras Laffan area of Qatar has been hit by missiles, sustaining extensive damage. It follows this warning from Iran. So where are the facilities Iran says are in its sights? Well, as well as that refinery in Qatar, it's warned of attacks on sites in Saudi Arabia and a gas field in the United Arab Emirates. And today's attacks by Israel on the South Pars gas field has already affected Qatar, as it shares that field with Iran. It's a major supplier of liquid gas with customers around the world. So what does that mean for gas supplies in the UK? Well, over a third is actually produced domestically. A similar amount comes from Norway and a smaller but growing amount from the US. We've actually reduced our reliance on Qatari gas. Imports from there make up about 1% of our usage. So this attack doesn't risk turning down the taps, but we buy our gas and oil on global markets, where prices are spiking once again as countries are scrabbling to secure alternative sources. Now, the oil price hasn't reached the heights of last week, but they are now, take a look at this, almost 50% above where we were ahead of the start of this conflict. Already, petrol prices here are up by 10 pence per litre, diesel 20 pence. This could spell more rises, an issue weighing on politicians' minds around the world.
It's day 20 of the Iran war. I'm on the ground in Dubai. Let's take you through what's been happening across the region today. The war is entering a dangerous new phase, one that now targets the global energy system. With critical energy infrastructure hit in Iran and across the Gulf, the oil price has hit its highest level since 2022, and prices for gas have spiked too. It's almost 3 weeks since the war began now, and there's no clear end in sight. First to Iran. Donald Trump has threatened to massively blow up a major gas field if Iran attacks Qatar again. His comments came after Israel struck the world's largest gas field, the South Pars in Iran, on Wednesday. Trump claims he had no knowledge of this attack before it happened. In response, Iran targeted the world's largest liquefied natural gas facility in Qatar. The Ras Laffan LNG facility was set on fire in the latest missile strikes, with extensive damage reported. Qatar had already shut down production here earlier this month, a move that almost never happens, underlining the scale of this threat to global energy. Qatar declared 2 Iranian embassy officials persona non grata and ordered them to leave the country within 24 hours. A refinery in Riyadh was also targeted. Saudi Arabia's foreign minister said any trust that did previously exist with Tehran has now been shattered, and made clear that they reserve the right to act militarily against Iran. In Kuwait, 2 refineries were also struck. No injuries were reported. And here in the UAE, debris fell over a gas and oil field in Abu Dhabi after missiles were intercepted. This has resulted in operations there being suspended. Elsewhere, in the West Bank, 4 women have been killed and several people injured after an Iranian strike hit a beauty salon in the south of the territory. It was one of the deadliest Iranian attacks aimed at Israel and the first to kill Palestinians in the West Bank. And in central Israel, a foreign worker was pronounced dead from shrapnel injuries after an Iranian missile attack. As families prepare to celebrate Eid across the Muslim world, in Lebanon, more than 1 million people, that's around 1 in 5 of the population, have now been displaced by Israel's ground invasion in the south of the country. Aerial video released by the Israeli military shows what it claims to be a strike on a Hezbollah position. Lebanese authorities say at least 12 people were killed in the strikes. From mass displacement to surging energy prices, this war is no longer just a military conflict. Iran may be weakened, but it's still able to hold the world to ransom through energy disruption, an escalation Donald Trump did not appear to anticipate, and one that is now pulling the wider region further into this war.
Throughout modern history, there's been one indicator that's shown up before almost every major recession, and that indicator has been an increase to the price of oil. Here's a chart that you can see for reference. The green line tracks the price of oil, which shows up anytime the price goes up above the long-term trend line. It then has preceded, aka happened before, a recession, which are all the gray vertical bars. Now this chart shows $104, but today that threshold is probably closer to maybe $70 to $75. Certainly above $100, it gets worse and worse. Right? That's the sweet spot for the US, is between $70 to $75. If it goes above that really quickly, then that's bad news. So for example, 1973 oil embargo, prices quadrupled, recession followed. 1979 Iranian Revolution, oil prices doubled, recession followed. 1990 Gulf War, oil spiked, recession followed. 2000, oil doubled, recession followed. 2007, oil went from $60 to $147 a barrel. The worst recession since the Great Depression followed. Every single time. And right now, thanks to the war in Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil goes through, oil prices are going up again.
I don't want to be dramatic, but you're actually missing out on what's happening in Middle East right now and how it can actually affect you. As of 9th March 2026, oil prices have shot up over $120 per barrel, sending shockwaves through financial markets. But even though all of this is happening, there are new projects being launched and implemented like never before. Investment in pipelines, drilling projects, it's all happening while the world is just distracted. Just the other day, we secured a $3.2 billion investment for the biggest park that will be built, the King Salman Park in Riyadh. So what does this mean? When a crisis hits, capital doesn't just disappear. It just moves through hands, and smart investors know when to invest in it. This is the new wealth being created. And if you want to be ahead of everyone else, come and invest in Sergey.
I feel like we're learning a lot of economics lessons in real time, and there's a misconception I keep seeing, which is that a 20% oil shortage would cause a 20% increase in oil prices. And that is not accurate. The price of oil will increase until 20% of people stop buying oil, or until we all buy, 20% less. That is called the market clearing price. Now, for some goods, this wouldn't be a big deal, but for oil, it is. Because if oil increases in price by 20%, you're still driving to work tomorrow, aren't you? What about 40%? What about 100%? If gas was $10 a gallon, you're probably still driving to work tomorrow because that's cheaper than losing your job. This is what economists call price inelastic demand. It means that the demand is not very sensitive to the price, and that means that we are in a bidding war, whether we want to be or not, with everyone who wants that 80% of oil that's left. You are competing with airlines and plastic manufacturers and Amazon delivery trucks. And when does that bidding war end? Well, when 20% of us drop out of it. Now, in the long run, people change their lifestyles. This is why the American muscle car died in the 1970s, because of the oil embargo. People switched to small cars like Toyotas and Hondas. But in the short term, we can't really do anything except maybe carpool more, and so the price will just continue to increase until the market clears. And that might be way more than a 20% price increase for a 20% shortage.